Hello, and welcome to Back of the Shed, a series where I take a look at some of the more forgotten locos in history. For our first episode, we'll be taking a look at Churchward's most forgotten standard design, the 3800 County class. George Jackson Churchward became Chief Mechanical Engineer of the Great Western Railway in 1902. He adopted a policy of standardization and laid the groundwork for what Great Western engines would look like going forward. 2 years after he became CME, the first of the Great Western 440 counties rolled out of Swindon Works, numbered 3473, County of Middlesex.
Behave.
Another 9 were built as part of the first batch, and after some fiddling with the chimneys, another 20 were built by October 1906, followed by a third batch of 10 in 1911. Although these were built with superheaters, top feeds, and after another round of chimney roulette, the final total of Churchward Counties came out to 40. The counties were all fitted with Swindon No. 4 boilers, although 3805 County Kerry was fitted with a Swindon No. 2 boiler between 1907 and 1909. In 1912, the first batch of 10 were renumbered from 3473 through 3482 to 3800 and 3831 to 3839. The class was initially built to work on the Hereford to Shrewsbury line along the LNWR because the Great Western had running rights over that section. However, that section had forbidden 460s from running on the line, so Churchward took his 2900 Saint 460, chopped off the rear driving wheels, and called it the County, bringing about the final class of 440s the Great Western would ever build. No, the Duke Dogs don't count. They weren't new, they were Frankenstein, despite what Mr. Collett will tell you. Unlike other Great Western 440s, the counties had inside frames and outside cylinders. Every part of the county was tried and true, which meant that they should have been something like Collett's 460 Granges, being built completely from standard parts. But were they? Not really. They worked fine, but they gained a reputation for rough riding with crews calling them Churchward's Rough Riders. Not a very imaginative or flattering nickname, but it gets the point across. The issue largely comes from the cylinders. Being basically a Saint without the back driving wheel meant that the cylinders tended to have more power than they could put down, causing the rough riding. To try and rectify this, the counterbalances were made larger, but this in turn caused substantial hammer blow. A Saint put down about 6.4 tons of hammer blow, while the 440 counties put down around 8 tons. Although, this didn't stop them from being used as the basis for something else. In 1905, Churchward more or less took the chassis of a County 440, gave it a pair of side tanks, a bunker, a set of trailer wheels, and a Swindon No. 2 boiler, and brought about the 2221 class, also known as the County tanks. 30 were built between 1905 and 1912 to replace the 3600 Birdcage class, which honestly deserves some Back of the Sheds video, but I digress. They shared a similar reputation to their tender engine counterparts, being known for rough riding. They had some similar modifications like superheating, top feeds, and later received new bunkers to bring them more in line with other Great Western tank engines. The County tanks were used on London suburban services, their large drivers giving them a good turn of speed, but not a great acceleration. The Churchward counties were quietly dismissed in 1930, with 3833 County of Dorset being withdrawn in February of that year. The county tanks would soldier on for another year before the 6100s arrived and slowly began to phase them out too. The last 440 county left was 3834 County of Somerset, which was withdrawn in 1933, and the last of the county tanks disappeared by the end of 1934. None of the counties were preserved, be it tank or tender. However, there are plans to build a replica of one. The Great Western Society made the decision to build the next member of the class, this being 3840, to be named County of Montgomery. The project was handed over to the Churchward County Trust, who planned to base the locomotive out of the Gloucestershire-Warwickshire Railway. Several components have already been manufactured, taking parts from Barry Scrapyard locomotive part donors and using wheel patterns from the Replica Saint. In short, the counties can be described as perhaps a bit of a blemish on Churchward's reputation. While it's not as bad as something like Fury was to Fowler or the Hush Hush was to Gresley, I think that honor belongs to the Great Bear, the counties were good-looking machines. They were just disappointing. Not the tanks, though. The tanks are hideous. This type is more often than not overlooked by railway enthusiasts, and I think some of the blame goes to the Hawkesworth counties, being a much more impressive machine. Hopefully, 3840 will be able to turn the tide on the county's reputation, but until then, this class, or rather pair of classes, will remain at the back of the sheds. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing, leaving a like, fun things. I've got some really fun videos I'm working on right now, and I hope you'll enjoy them. But until then, we'll see you.